This is a paid advertisement on behalf of Sun Summit Minerals. What's going on, guys? This is Aaron from Departures Capital, and we're here with Niel Marotta, CEO of Sun Summit Minerals. Pleasure to have you back on, Neil. How are you doing today?
I'm well, thanks. Nice to see you.
Yes, very exciting times. A lot has changed. Gold's almost at 5,000 USD an ounce, which is quite crazy. It's exciting to be part of this. So now that we have you back, for investors who watched our last interview, what are the biggest developments at Sun Summit since we last spoke? And what do you think is the most exciting thing happening right now?
Well, since we last spoke, we've completed a very successful drill season. We drilled over 6,800 meters last year. We put out a news release just this morning about the final drill results from the Fin zone. They were also encouraging with very high grades. We had a couple of really great hits this year, 78 meters of 3.7 grams and 81 meters of 4.8 grams near surface in the creek zone. So we're going to follow that up with drilling next summer, and we expect next summer we'll have our biggest program ever.
Well, it couldn't be a better time for that. So, could you walk us through your key projects today? What each one represents strategically and where your focus is going into this year in terms of the highest impact value drivers.
Sure. So we have three projects. Our flagship is JD, and that's in the Toodoggone. 10 kilometers from JD is Theory, also in the Toodoggone. And our third project, and probably the one we'll spend the least amount of time on this year, is called Buck. That is in Houston, BC, has an 800,000 ounce gold resource on it. But the big focus for the company is on JD. We intend to do 10,000 meters of drilling this summer, which is fully funded. That'll be our biggest program ever, bigger than the last 2 years combined. And our goal ultimately in the next 18 months is to put out an inaugural mineral resource estimate for that property.
That's awesome. So, let's talk drilling. And obviously, now is the environment where people really care and value can be driven through the drill bit. So, what's the plan for your next drill program? I know you just touched on it a bit. What are the main targets you're prioritizing, and what does success look like from a technical standpoint for Sun Summit over the next 6 to 12 months?
Right. Well, we've got what we call the Creek to Fin corridor, which is an epithermal gold silver system, about a 4.5 kilometer corridor. So that's big, that's scale. We also have great grades. I mean, drilling 3, 4 gram material near surface is fantastic. Those are great results. So we'll focus again on the Fin and Creek zone. Those are separated by a few kilometers, and in between, there's some very interesting targets as well. And now that we're well capitalized because of a financing we closed in December. That was very well received and oversubscribed. We'll do a 10,000 meter program this year. Again, that's our biggest program we've ever done. When you add that to the work we've done in the last 2 years since we got the property, plus all of the historic drilling that we've been able to use and digitize and build models, we'll be well over 50,000 meters. In fact, over 55,000 meters of total drilling in this property. So that sets us up very nicely to put out a mineral resource in the next 18 months and unlock the value at the JD property for our shareholders.
Great. So now let's touch a little bit on the financing. So as you mentioned, you recently completed an oversubscribed $11 million financing. So can you talk about, who participated, how you're allocating that capital across exploration, drilling, and just overall strategy?
Sure. So, I mean, 80 to 90% of those funds will go into our drill program this summer. We want to be aggressive in the market that we're in. This is clearly a bull market for gold and silver. What was nice about that financing, a couple of things. It was a 10-cent share, so no unit, no warrants attached, 10-cent share. And we've had a much bigger proportion of that offering taken up by institutional investors. So I think that the Toodoggone is an area, you see results coming out from Thesis and TDG and a PEA from Centerra, and the area is definitely growing. It is going to be developed over time. It's very clear. We even see government support inside some of those press releases for the area. So I think institutions are looking around and saying, "Hey, we've got Sun Summit here, which is arguably very undervalued on a relative basis, compared to our neighbor." And that's really, where we think this is going. Our market cap today is just over 40 million. Our immediate neighbor to the west, Thesis Gold, is about 800 million. And so if we are fortunate enough to come up with a multi-million ounce resource, which is our goal, we think we'll close that valuation gap quite a bit.
Great. So looking ahead to 2026, what are the major catalysts or milestones, just to reiterate, investors should have on their radar? And what would you say is the core thesis for why Sun Summit could stand out in this cycle?
Well, we're fully funded, right? So we don't have any need to raise cash to fund the program we want to do this summer. We'll have our largest drill program that we've ever done over the course of the summer. So that'll create a lot of great news flow in the fall. And then that'll drive us towards a mineral resource estimate. And I think when you look at the relative valuation of the company, if we have any resource of significance, call it 1.5 to 2.5 million ounces, if we get into in that kind of range, we're going to create a lot of value here for shareholders.
Definitely. Well, thanks for the updates, Neil. You're at a very pivotal time in your business, and it's exciting because we're in the market where drilling, people care, and you can potentially provide a lot of value through the drill bit. So, I'm excited to see what happens. We'll have you back on for more updates as the story progresses. Always a pleasure.
Thanks very much.